Is the fear of failing stopping you from making a game? It might feel like there are a lot of different reasons to not make a game, like feeling like the market is already oversaturated, or that it would be too difficult, or that making anything worthwhile will just take too long, which is fair. But what if you were 100% certain that the time you put into making your game will pay off in the way that you want it to? You'd do it, right? Now that's a pretty wild guarantee, but as it turns out, it's not quite as far-fetched as you might think, because all we're really talking about here is risk. The risk that you'll spend years making a game, and then that game doesn't sell, or that you can't finish it. But what's good about risk is that it can be reduced. Here's how. So here's the start of your project. 100% risk, 0 progress, everything is unknown, and you haven't done anything yet. Now, you might assume that as you work on your project, your risk reduces in a linear fashion, but that's not always how it works. Instead, it's much more likely to look like this. A lot of upfront work with a few moments of truth where you find out if your project is really going to be what you want it to be. Here's where you find out if that one big technical challenge is possible or not. Here's where you find out if your game is fun. And here is where you see if your game is actually going to sell. Now, you can see the big problem with this is that there's this huge amount of work with no real reduction in risk, which means that if you get to here and the game just isn't fun, you're kind of screwed because you're not in a very good position to do anything about it without doing a lot of work all over again. Instead, recognize that these are the biggest risks to the project being successful and do them first. So that might mean working on your big technical challenge before you do anything else, or getting any kind of playable version into people's hands as fast as possible. And when you do that, you remove a huge amount of risk up front. So the progress line looks more like this. The difference this makes is that now, even though you can never be 100% sure that the game is going to turn out how you want it to, by focusing on these priorities first, you remove a lot of the risk up front by taking the biggest risks to the project being successful and getting them out of the way early.